watching this show tonight? How you guys felt about this show tonight? Sound off in the comment section. Give me a second. Let me hydrate myself real quick as you guys type in the comments down below. Listen, right now in New York City, there's a heat wave. So, folks, if you're in the tri-state area, stay hydrated, please. Stay hydrated. Wear a mask. Wash your hands every 20 seconds, folks. I don't know how to feel about this show tonight. Yeah, sure, there was some moving parts. Some good moving parts. Then the other half of the show, it's not your fault that you're getting buried, but damn, I just can't take you serious right now, for real. That's how I felt about the show tonight. I felt bleh. Especially after the shit that we got last night. My God. That was a fucking horror show for sure last night. If you guys haven't watched my Extreme Rules review last night, link will be down below in the description. Also, the link to that video will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper hand corner of your screen. As well as the Extreme Rules preview and predictions that I did on Saturday. And the DJ Storm's I'm Still Real to Them reaction video. Will not only be down below in the description, but also in the annotation that you see in the upper hand corner of your screen. We got some moving parts. There were some parts of the show that I enjoyed. Some, not a lot, some. There were other parts of the show I was like, I don't care. I can't take you serious. You were in Kyrie for a long ass time. I can't take you serious. That's how I truly felt about the show. And this is the fallout from the horror show at Extreme Rules. Now, they did book some matches for next week. Hopefully, obviously, to boost up the ratings for next week. I think if I was to guess the rating on this show, I guess it'll probably be a 1.6. It's not going to go above a 2. Just not a for 4. Just not a for sure. This show is not going to go above a fucking 2. It's not. It's going to take a little more effort for that show to be above a 2. Which won't happen no time soon. Yeah, we're still in a fucking pandemic. People are home. They just don't watch the show. They just don't watch the show. We're going to go over everything that happened on the show tonight. Everything on the show tonight. We're going to talk about the entire show. What I liked about it. What I did not like about it. You know, the old fashioned that goes here. On Monday Night Raw. Now, Raw's looking pretty, not bad next week. Not bad. We're getting Sasha and Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship to find out who's the real Raw Women's Champion. And we're also getting Drew McIntyre defending the WWE Championship against Dolph Ziggler. Only this time, Drew McIntyre is going to name the stipulation for that match next week. We'll talk about that and what I think is going to happen next week here on the Raw Review. Tonight, on Raw tonight, we got Aleister Black going one-on-one with Seth Rollins. We got a 6-man tag team match. Yes, another 6-man tag on Raw. We got MVP, Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin going up against Ricochet, Cedric Alexander, and a returning, yes, I know, returning Mustafa Ali. Oh my God, they found him. They found Mustafa Ali after so many times in catering. They finally took him out of catering and they put him on the fucking show. Thank fucking Christ. Talk about that on the show as well. We got Christian's interview with Samoa Joe. We'll talk about that as well. Then we got Peyton Royce, some women's action tonight on the show. We got some Peyton Royce going up against Ruby Riott. We'll talk about that also on the show tonight. We got the Street Profits, the Raw Tag Team Champions, going up against Angel Garza and Andrade. Some tag team action on Monday Night Raw. We got the Sasha Banks segment. Is she the real Raw Women's Champion or is she not the Raw Women's Champion? We'll find out tonight. Here on the show, we got Bayley going up against Kairi Sane. Not Asuka, Kairi Sane. And then we got Drew McIntyre's segment with Dolph Ziggler, which we'll talk about on the show. And then the main event of the show tonight, we got the non-sanctioned match. Should I say unsanctioned match? Between Randy Orton and The Big Show. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about the entire thing that happened on Monday Night Raw here on the Monday Night Raw review right here on the channel. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm your boy Chris. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into the channel. If you guys, how you guys felt about Raw tonight? Leave your displeasure or your pleasure in the comment section down below. If you guys enjoyed Raw for some fucking reason, I don't know how would you enjoy Monday Night Raw on a weekly fucking basis. If you guys are, you guys feeling blah, are you guys feeling the same thing that I felt about Raw last night? About Raw tonight, hit that like button. Leave a comment down below what you guys thought about Monday Night Raw tonight. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to show your support. Hit that subscribe button down below and turn on those bells, guys, for all notifications, guys. Make sure you guys are following me on social media, Instagram, at your boy Chris25_, and on Twitter, Chris Most Hated on Twitter, and I will give you guys a follow right back on those social media platforms. Also, my Extreme Rules review, like I said earlier, my Extreme Rules review is live on the channel right now. Be sure to show some love, leave a like, leave a comment down below on the video last night. I have also my Extreme Rules 2020 preview and predictions on Saturday. Link to that video will be down below in the description. And also the I'm Still Real to Them. I'm Still Real. It's Still Real to Them DJ Storm's interview video. That video will be down below in the description as well. Also in the annotation above that you see on the upper hand corner of your screen. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Now, before we talk about Monday Night Raw, you see the layout. You see the ticker that's scrolling from right to left. Cyrex was the idea, the genius mind of this entire layout. I gotta give a special shout out to Cyrex, bro. If you're watching, bro, shout out to you, bro. And let me know when you're gonna send me the Extreme Rules review thumbnail so I can post it up on the channel. Let me know, bro. Let's talk about Raw tonight. Now, I gotta be honest with you. I fell asleep during the first half hour of the show. I fell asleep. I'm not gonna lie to you. So, this week's Raw opens up with a look back at the Seth Rollins Rey Mysterio eye for an eye match last night, which was fucking terrible. Terrible. We go live to the arena, or should I say the Performance Center, and out comes Rollins and Murphy. The crowd, quote-unquote crowd, boo, and Rollins looks annoyed. He says Rey Mysterio's eye came out of his socket last night. Actually, it was a ping pong ball colored in red. He understood the stipulation going into the match, but what happened last night will stay with him forever. It was disgusting, just like Monday Night Raw is on a weekly basis. It's disgusting. Just how the ratings of Monday Night Raw is disgusting. Barbaric and more than he expected. Yeah, same here. I agree. It made him sick. It makes me sick watching this show on a weekly basis. But does he regret it? I regret every single minute of it. Well, he is forced to ask if the WWE Universe regrets what they did to him. This wasn't his decision. The fans made him the Monday Night Messiah. He says it's the fans who are to blame for what happened to Rey. But let's not forget Rey asked for this stipulation, and actions have consequences. The action that I'm doing is watching Monday Night Raw. The consequences for it is me suffering from it. If I suffer, the ratings suffer as well. So there you go. All that said, we can't dwell in the past. The beauty of it all is that now Rey is out of sight, literally and figuratively out of sight, and Monday Night Raw can fulfill its potential. What's the fulfill its potential part of Monday Night Raw? I think once Vince and Bruce are out of fucking power, and you take the pen off of Bruce and Vince, Raw can fulfill its potential. He said there is no one left to stand in the way, but out comes Aleister Black. Now, I love Aleister Black. I love him dating back to his NXT days when he was NXT champion. Fantastic stuff. I said this on Twitter. You see Aleister Black in NXT, and you see Aleister Black on the main roster. Two completely different people. Now, you're going to get used to me saying that throughout this entire review. So get ready. Black says Seth can't defer any of the blame because this is all on him. But he's here to rectify. Black takes off his jacket and Murphy runs at him but gets kicked in the head. Black makes his way to the ring, but Murphy pulls him back out. Alistair beats Murphy around ringside. kicking him against the barricade, throwing him into the plexiglass and over the announce desk. Black gets in the ring, but Seth slides out and stares at him as we go to commercial break. So obviously we are going to get the Black Rollins match here on Monday Night Raw. So there you go. Very much simple and quick to the point. We got the match here between Black and Rollins, and this match wasn't that bad. I mean, it was, like I said, the way I felt about this show was more, I just don't care. There you go. Now, how many times we've seen this match on Monday Night Raw, whether it was a singles match, or a tag team match, or a 6-man tag? How many times have we seen Rollins and Black go in the ring against each other? It's not special anymore. It's no longer special. Like I said, you see Aleister Black on NXT and you compare him to Monday Night Raw. The difference is out of this fucking world. The difference is out of this fucking world. It really is. But I love Rollins at times. The only time I love Rollins was last year until they fucking fucked him over. And another time I loved Rollins was back in 2018 when he was Intercontinental Champion. Loved that reign of his. Loved that reign. That reign was phenomenal. That was when Rollins hit his peak. His other peak. When he won the IC title. But this match was wasn't that bad. It was alright for what it was. Rollins was targeting the arm of Aleister Black the entire match. So that was the main story here, was Aleister Black's arm. Rollins springboards back in, but Black avoids him and delivers some big kicks. Murphy gets on the apron, but Black kicks him off, then attempts to springboard moonsault, but Seth avoids it. Rollins attempts to stomp, but gets hit with Black Mass and rolls to the apron. Murphy rolls in, but he eats Black Mass as well. We go to commercial break. We return from break to find Black kicking Rollins in the corner. Black lifts him up by the boot, but Rollins rolls him up for 2. Seth hits 2 Avalanche Avita Caravara. Yeah, it is. And both men are down. Rollins goes up top, but Black hits him, and they fight on the ropes. Black gets ripped down by the arm. That was the entire point of the entire match. That's what changed the whole match there. And Seth jumps at him, but Black lands a kick in midair. Aleister grabs the back, but gets slammed down by the arm. Then Rollins hits the stomp. Rollins slowly crawls over the cover, over for the cover, and gets the pinfall victory over Aleister Black. After the match, Rollins and Murphy leave up the ramp, but run back down and start attacking Aleister Black together. They take him outside and slam him into the barricade, then drag him over to the ring post and whack his arm off. Good spot there, I guess. I mean, I love the way Black sold it. Rollins slams him down by the arm on the floor, then bangs it into the announce decks repeatedly. Rollins stands on his hand and berates him, then jumps on it, and Black screams. The way Black sold was a really good job out of him. But I was sitting here hoping that somebody would at least come out and help Black. That wasn't the case. You don't have Ray to help out. You don't have Dominic out. So who's going to sit there and help out Black? No one. Are we heading towards a Seth Rollins, Aleister Black match at SummerSlam? You want to get this match to me on Raw where you could have at least built towards that for SummerSlam. But then again, who's going to care about that match anyways? Due to the fact that we've seen this match how many times on Monday Night Raw? A whole bunch of times. Whole bunch of times. Especially between January and March. You know how many times we've seen this match? A bunch of times. And we got it here on the show tonight. So if there's the booking at SummerSlam, who's going to sit here and care about it? Not me and not you either. There you go. There you go. Or unless, I don't know if this really happens. I don't know if this could happen for Black. But, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I'm going to sit here and guess, maybe between now and SummerSlam, we got a U.S. title match between Apollo Crews and possibly Lashley, unless they do it at SummerSlam, then what's Black doing at SummerSlam, and what's Rollins doing at SummerSlam. You got to figure out a way for Black to be on the card. And Lashley too. Maybe they book Black and Lashley for the U.S. title at SummerSlam, that's something I'll be okay with. But then again, we want to see Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar the way Lashley has been being built for the past couple of weeks. Give him Lesnar. Maybe we're heading towards a Rollins Black match at SummerSlam. Who knows? Maybe, from what I heard, we could be getting a Rollins Kevin Owens match at SummerSlam. That's what I heard. I don't know how true that is, but we got to see how that goes going into SummerSlam. We need to know. Because we're about, what, 5-6 weeks to SummerSlam? A lot can happen in that department. A lot can happen in that department. But let's see what happens. The match wasn't that bad. The beatdown was eh. It was alright for what it was. So, that is it. We see a replay of last night when an MVP announced himself as the new United States Champion as a result of forfeit. Now, I heard a report today, DK, that Apollo Crews was tested positive for COVID. And like I said last night on the review, why didn't they just give MVP the U.S. title at this point? Or at least give it to Lashley? I don't know. I have no idea. But you know how this company is. This company works ass backwards. You know how this company is. MVP and Lashley are backstage with Ron Simmons, who tells them there's a way of doing things and walks off. Truth appears with a giant wonk, and says MVP's belt is a nice replica. MVP gets annoyed, but says they love it if Truth joined them at ringside. Truth says no, he doesn't want to put in the Nelson again. He asks Lashley if he knows it hurts, and Lashley corrects him. He says MVP wanted to know if the new 24/7 champion would be joining them. Shelton Benjamin, then boots Truth from behind and pins him. Shelton Benjamin is the new 24/7 champion. Benjamin, MVP, and Lashley walk off to the ring. So you put Shelton Benjamin, a really good athlete, a really good superstar who I love, and you put him as the new 24/7, nobody gives a fuck champion. Imagine that. Imagine that. MVP, Lashley, and Sheldon come to the ring together. MVP says last night he became the new United States champion. He didn't even break a sweat. That's because the CEO of the Hurt Business, Bobby Lashley, ragdolled Apollo Crews a few weeks ago. Now, this is when I was like, why didn't they just announce tonight that Apollo Crews has COVID? At least announced that last night. It came out today that apparently Apollo Crews got tested positive for COVID. Also, from what I heard today, Ric Flair's wife got tested positive for COVID. That's to the reason why we didn't see Ric Flair on the show tonight, accompanying Orton to the ring. Which I hope, I hope Apollo gets through it, and I hope Ric Flair's wife gets through it. Hope so. But it doesn't matter because his victory was a foregone conclusion. Tonight, they have to deal with the two hard-headed idiots, and when they're done, they will hit the after party. They better have some hookah and some 1942s on it as well. Ricochet and Aleister Black come out, and they say MVP is irrelevant and a coward hiding behind Bobby Lashley. He's more of a chump than a champ. Cedric says they've both been champions before, and they can do it again without MVP's help. MVP laughs and says he looks at either side of him and sees two grown-ass men from the Hurt Business. But Ricochet and Cedric are two little kids, and they don't have a third man. So why don't they go to the back again? Ricochet says they, in fact, do have a partner for tonight. And out comes the returning, oh my God, they found him. He's no longer in the milk carton anymore. Mustafa Ali. Thank fucking Christ. They put Mustafa Ali on Monday Night Raw. Finally. Holy shit. Folks, stay hydrated, folks. Stay hydrated, folks. If you're in the tri-state area, stay hydrated. They're going through a heat wave right now in the tri-state area. So finally, I'm like, holy shit! I jumped right out of this fucking chair and I told myself, oh my God, the heavens have fucking answered my prayers. Finally. Lashley runs out, but Ali super kicks him. Then Ricochet and Cedric do the same thing. They run into the ring, but MVP and Sheldon run tail. The tag matches after the break, they turn into a 6-man tag. So I'm guessing we were supposed to get either a combination of MVP and Lashley and Sheldon, or Sheldon and MVP versus Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. Now that turned into a 6-man tag. MVP, Bobby Lashley, and Sheldon go up against Ricochet, Cedric Alexander, and Mustafa Ali. Now, I said the same thing about Aleister Black. I'm going to say the exact same thing about Ricochet. You look at Ricochet from NXT, and you look at Ricochet on the main roster. Two completely different people. And you know what the fucked up part about this is? It's not his fault. It's not Alistair's fault that we can't take him serious. It's not Ricochet's fault that we can't take him serious. It's not Cedric Alexander's fault that we're not taking him serious. And it's not Mustafa Ali's fault that we're not taking him serious. It's all creative's fault. You look at Ricochet on fucking NXT. He was a fucking god in NXT. You look at him on the main roster. Holy shit. The man could have been more buried than ever before. Especially back in February when he was facing Brock Lesnar for the coveted WWE Championship. The man didn't get no offense in. The man got no offense in whatsoever. That's not my fault. That's not Ricochet's fault either. It's all creative. It's all creative. It's all creative. Listen, when it comes to professional wrestling, it's all about the two C's. Cash or creative. Either one of those two. This was a 6-man tag, and obviously, you guys know, typical WWE 101. When they book a 6-man tag, 99.9% the babyfaces will win this match. And guess what happened here? The 6-man tag winner was the babyfaces. Ricochet, Mustafa Ali, and Cedric Alexander won this match. The match was fun. It was all right for what it was. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. But Mustafa Ali got the pinfall victory over MVP, over the United States champion. Lashley chokes Ricochet with his boot and grinds him down. Mustafa and MVP get the tags, and Ali drops MVP with a dropkick. Then forces him into the corner. Ali hits the Insigiri and a rolling X Factor for a 2 count, broken up by Bobby Lashley. Ali sends Lashley to the outside, while Ali hits him with a really Gardner suicide dive, sending Lashley over the announce table. And I thought for that second, Lashley almost, the way Lashley fell over the announce table, I thought he was going to land on his fucking neck. Holy shit. So Benjamin boots Cedric on the floor, but Ricochet hits a springboard moonsault on him. Really good spot there. And they're all down on the floor. Back inside the ring, MVP looks for a big boot, but Ali dodges it and hits a neck breaker. Ali goes up top, hits the 450 splash, and pins the quote-unquote United States champion in MVP. 6-man tag wasn't that bad. It was all right for what it was. It wasn't that really bad. But I can't just sit here and take Ricochet, Mustafa Ali, and Cedric Alexander serious. Creative made me not take them serious. Don't get me wrong. Ricochet's phenomenal in the ring. Don't get me wrong. Cedric Alexander, he's amazing in the ring. Great storyteller. And as well as Mustafa Ali. Ever since last year, during the road to the Elimination Chamber last year, it wasn't supposed to be Kofi Kingston getting that big push. It was supposed to be Mustafa Ali getting that big push. But Mustafa Ali got hurt. It's just part of the sport. When you're in professional wrestling, getting hurt is part of the sport. You can't stop it. You can't control it. It just happens. Ever since Mustafa Ali got hurt last year, his momentum went completely downhill from there. To the point where if he's being shown on TV, he's getting loss after loss after loss after loss. Same thing as Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. Weren't they getting pushed at some point this year? Before this whole pandemic happened, they were getting pushed. They were being on TV every single week. Just that now I can't take them serious no more. I just can't. I cannot take them serious right now. And not that their fault. Which is the crazy part about it. It's not their fault. Don't get me wrong, I love Ricochet, I love Mustafa Ali, and I love Cedric Alexander. I just cannot take them serious now. And it's not their fault. It's all creative's fault. Babyface's win, the 6-man tag, wasn't that bad at all. Randy Orton's backstage, and he talks about the moments of his career that made his career. And people might think of when he joined Evolution, became the youngest world champion of all time, or beat Mick Foley in a hardcore match. That was back at Backlash 2004, by the way. But that's not what he thinks about. There were great moments, but he remembers the moment 174 days ago when he swung a chair down onto the neck of Edge, which was the Raw after the Rumble. That moment was cardiac and was just the same when he punted Christian into retirement. And now the Big Show has come back to seek some ill-sighted retribution, but he will take immense pleasure in ending his career once and for all. We'll talk about Randy Orton when we get to the main event. Because let me tell you right now, the way Randy Orton is being booked right now, listen, ever since January, not even Backlash, ever since January, ever since the night after the, actually, let's go back a little further. Ever since the Royal Rumble pay-per-view back in January, when it was in front of a real crowd, they've been booking Randy Orton absolutely perfectly. And we'll talk about Randy Orton when we get to the main event of the show. Because I got a lot to say about Randy Orton that I think a lot of people will agree with me on. So we go to commercial break. Coming back for commercial break, we got Christian shows on the show via satellite, and Samoa Joe interviews him. Joe asked how he has been, and Christian says Randy is one of the best to ever do it. He knew what he was getting himself into, but he didn't expect Randy to weaponize Ric Flair. Christian says he will never look at either of them the same again, and doesn't know if he will even be the same. Joe asked Christian about his healing process, and Christian says he has good days and bad days, but he has to be honest, he doesn't feel good. But he'd do it all again if it guarantees Randy gets what is coming to him. He can't wait to see the Big Show knock Randy Orton's ass out cold. Very strong words from Christian. Very strong words from Christian. Sarah Schreiber interviews Bianca Belair backstage and asks where she goes next. Bianca says her rise will be the fastest ever because she's the best. I agree. Peyton Royce appears and says the interview is already too long. Royce said Bianca is the nosiest and the loudest of all time. Why? Listen, Peyton Royce, why are you talking about yourself? Ruby Riott comes up and pokes fun at Peyton, asking where Billie Kay is. Yeah, where is Billie Kay? Royce tells him to mind their own business and reminds Ruby that she beat her. Royce tells Bianca to be careful or she'll wind up like Liv Morgan. Ruby gets mad and Bianca gets between them. Belair says she can't wait to see Peyton get whooped in a way that can only be described as iconic. I tried. Terrible. I know. Absolutely terrible. I know. Come back for commercial break. We get Peyton Royce versus Ruby Riott. I did not watch this match. I was actually... What was I doing during this match? I think I was downstairs in the store, I guess, while this match happened. Yeah, I was. I was in the store during this match. I come back, and I see Ruby Riott pinning Peyton Royce. And I'm like, oh my God. Ruby Riott has a singles match victory over Peyton Royce. This is Ruby Riott's first singles win in 2020. Oh my God. Oh my God. Somebody buy a hookah. Somebody buy a 1942 for Ruby Riott. Because my God. Let's just celebrate at this point. Ruby Riott gets a victory over Peyton Royce by using a Riott kick. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow. She is back on the win column, folks. Ruby Riott scores an emotional win over Peyton Royce. Wow. Fresh. Something new. Something fresh. Wow. That is tough. No, but I'm happy for Ruby Riott. She finally got a victory. Finally. Holy shit. Finally. My goodness, man. I missed the entire match. I was in the store buying some stuff. So, there you go. There you go. Charlie Caruso, Bay, interviews Zelina Vega, Angel Garza, and Andrade backstage, asking how they feel about a big match tonight against the Street Profits. Vega says, Vega said the champions haven't been around much lately. I think from what I heard, was it Monte? No, it was, who was it? It was, D'Angelo Dawkins. He is a father now. Congrats to him. Congrats to him being a father. I think his, newborn child gave birth, I think, his wife, or his girlfriend, I think his girlfriend, his wife, gave birth a couple weeks ago. So congrats on D'Angelo Dawkins. Congrats on him. He became a father. Hope that's a good feeling for him. While her boys have been here winning match after match, Andrade and Garza echo her sentimentals, but the Profits attacked them from behind like heels and beat them down. Can I ask, why is the Street Profits attacking Angel Garza and Andrade? They're baby faces. Baby faces don't attack them from behind. That was a little heelish type thing that they did here. Why would you attack Garza and Andrade from behind? Why? They're baby faces. Hello? Hello? So the match is up next. We got the Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Andrade. The match was... I enjoyed this match. The match was good for what it was. The match wasn't even that bad, honestly. Andrade hits a suplex for a 2 count, then goes to a submission. Andrade tags Angel, then holds forward as Garza punches him. Garza beats on forward before tagging Andrade back again, who backdrops forward and goes to an abdominal stretch. Montez fights out and hits a suplex and crawls to make a tag. Dawkins comes in against Andrade, hits a spinning back elbow, then intercepts Garza with a belly-to-belly suplex, T-bone suplex to Andrade, then a splash and a bulldog for a near fall. Garza and Ford get the tags and comes in with a super kick to Dawkins, but Ford knocks him off the top rope, hits an incredible turning frog splash. That was incredible. I actually loved that spot. When Ford hit the the turning frog splash, like he adjusted himself in midair, fucking love that. That's a beautiful spot. And picks up the victory. Street Profits win. Can I ask this question? Why wasn't this match booked for SummerSlam? That's the one thing I did not like. Why wasn't this match booked for SummerSlam? I mean, Andrade and Garza, they beat the Street Profits last week. No. They beat Ivar and Eric last week. They beat them. They beat Ivar and Eric last week. So they should automatically beat the number 1 contenders for the Raw Tag Team Champions. They should, right? But no, you want to book them against the Street Profits tonight on this show where you could have booked it for SummerSlam. Now you got the Street Profits beating Andrade and Garza. I'm guessing we're heading towards a triple threat tag team match at SummerSlam. That's what I'm guessing. Because of what other teams they have on Raw. You got the Street Profits, you got Garza and Andrade, and you got Ivar and Eric. Technically, that's your entire tag team division. So for my guess is, they're booking a triple threat tag team match at SummerSlam with the Street Profits, Garza and Andrade, and Eric and Ivar. It is what it is at this point. I mean, I don't really care. They also mentioned, which is a really good stat here, they mentioned that since the Raw Tag Team Championships were made back in 2016, the Street Profits are the longest reigning Raw Tag Team Champions. And mind you, I believe the Street Profits won the championships, I believe when they were in Brooklyn, I believe at Barclays Center on Monday Night Raw, in front of the fucking crowd. Wow, that is an astonishing stat. I did not know that. The Street Profits are the longest reigning Raw Tag Team Champions. dating back to 2016, where the Raw Tag Team Championships were made. It's a nice stat. That's a really good accomplishment for the Street Profits. Really good accomplishment. So the Street Profits win here. I'm going to sit here and guess, like I said, they are going to book most likely a triple threat tag team match at SummerSlam. So there you go. That's what I'm thinking here. With the Street Profits, the Viking Raiders, and Andrade and Garza. I guess they're going to do that for SummerSlam. We see a replay from last night where Sasha Banks wrestled Asuka and essentially stole the title after Bayley wore the referee's shirt and counted to 3. After the break, we'll find out just what's going on. So we do come up for commercial break, and we see Andrade and Vega are talking backstage cordially. But Vega appears and yells at them for being stupid and blowing their opportunity. Angel says they're on the same page, and Vega tells them to prove it. We'll find out on the show. Sasha Banks and Bayley made it to the ring, both donning 2 belts. Now, I said it to JD and I tweeted this on Twitter. Attention to detail, folks. Sasha is holding the Raw Women's Championship and it doesn't have Sasha's plates on it. Sasha was holding the Raw Women's Championship and it still had Asuka's side plates on it. So I'm here telling myself they're probably going to book a championship match within the coming weeks. So that's what I got from that entire segment. Bayley shames the fans for booing Sasha. I mean, how can you boo Sasha? I love Sasha. Banks says a lot of people have been talking and accusing her of stealing the Raw Women's Championship. She says people must have bad memories because she fought for that belt. Unlike Asuka, who got handed the title by Becky Lynch. Yeah, she's got a point there. She's got a point. Banks says Asuka tried to blind the referee last night, so Bayley took over duties like a good person. Because Bayley is a role model. Bayley says she isn't just Bayley Dos Straps, she's a role model. As she is. I love Bayley too. She had to do the right thing. Banks says she is the standard, the blueprint, and 2 belt Banks. It's got a nice ring to it. 2 belts Banks. It's got a nice ring to it, honestly. They start celebrating, but out comes Asuka and Kairi Sane. Asuka says Sasha was not ready for her, but Asuka was not ready for a thief. Asuka says Banks is holding her title, so Sasha tells her to come get it. The Kabuki Warriors walk down the ramp, but Stephanie McMahon appears on the screen and tells them to hold on. She congratulates them on being champions, but says Sasha is not the Raw Women's Champion. Either did Asuka, though, because Asuka got quote-unquote pinned last night. So next week, they will have a rematch to determine the real Raw Women's Champion. And if Bayley gets involved, Sasha loses. And if Kairi Sane gets involved, Asuka loses. So we got Kairi Sane versus Bayley coming up next. So they made it official. Next week, we're getting Asuka and Sasha for the vacant Raw Women's Champion to determine who is the real Raw Women's Champion. A champion could be crowned now by pinfall, submission, countout, or disqualification. So technically, there must be a winner here for next week. Stephanie also says if Bayley gets involved, Sasha loses. But then again, if you really think about it, if Kairi Sane gets involved, Asuka loses. So there must be a winner next week. So now you're telling me here that Sasha has to win clean when she's the heel. This automatically tells me next week that Asuka will be the Raw Women's Champion again. Simple. And I'll tell you the reason why of that in just a second. Because a certain somebody played a big part during this match, as the match went on. So the match goes on between Bayley and Kairi Sane. Out of nowhere, watching in the back, was Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler gets an interview backstage during the match, and she says she doesn't have a match tonight. She's the best woman in the division, and she's not featured. So yeah, she has a vested interest in this match, like a shark smelling blood. And I said on Twitter, and I'm still gonna believe this on Twitter, Whoever wins the Raw Women's Championship match next week between Asuka and Sasha will most likely face Shayna Baszler at SummerSlam. Remember this tweet. Now, I'm going to say this now. Remember this video. Next week, whoever wins the Raw Women's Championship between Asuka and Sasha Banks will face Shayna Baszler at SummerSlam. Now, this made it predictable for me next week because if you're putting Sasha to win the Raw Women's Championship, how long do you think she'll last against somebody like Shayna Baszler? She ain't gonna last that long in the ring. She ain't gonna last that long. Now, who knows? Sasha could bring out a great match out of Shayna Baszler and still lose. But then again, if you have Asuka win the Raw Women's Championship and she defends it against Shayna Baszler, it could be good. It could be really good. And on top of that, Asuka is a Raw superstar. Sasha is a SmackDown superstar. So why would you have Sasha win the championship next week, only for her to inevitably drop the championship to Shayna Baszler at SummerSlam? Now I'm going to say this now. Whoever wins the Raw Women's Championship is going to inevitably lose the championship to Shayna Baszler at SummerSlam. Because Shayna was supposed to win the Rumble. That didn't happen. Shayna won the fucking chamber. She literally beat everybody in that match. So she was so dominant, it took her into WrestleMania, and she lost to Becky Lynch. Now, there's a report out there saying that Becky Lynch wanted to put Shayna Baszler over at WrestleMania, but that wasn't the case. And it was also rumored that Shayna was supposed to win Money in the Bank, and that didn't happen. Asuka ended up winning Money in the Bank, which eventually was for the Raw Women's Championship without everybody knowing it. You have to have Shayna become Raw Women's Champion at SummerSlam. If Asuka wins next week, which is my prediction because we always have a SmackDown superstar win the Raw Women's title, so by default, Asuka is going to win next week and she'll drop the championship to Shayna Baszler at SummerSlam. How I can book this shit simpler than Vince and Bruce? Come on now. Come on. So we got Bayley versus Kairi Sane. The matchup was good. The matchup was actually great. This is the best match in the entire show. No cap. The women have been killing it as of late. Throughout the past couple of weeks. They've been really killing it. They ain't about the NXT Great American Bash. They've been killing it. They've really been killing it. Actually, to be honest with you, dating back to Money in the Bank. Because the women's Money in the Bank was really, really good. It was really good. I actually enjoyed it. It was really good. So dating back to Money in the Bank, the women's matches have been really, really good. Really good. If it involved Asuka, Shayna Baszler, Sasha, and Bayley, it was really good. Bayley's match against Nikki Cross last night was good. It was honestly, in my opinion, and I didn't say this on the Extreme Rules review, it was the third best match in the entire show. Was Bayley and Nikki Cross. It was the third best match in the entire show. Yeah, it was predictable, but the match was good for what it was. It was really good. I enjoyed it. So, the match between Bayley and Kairi Sane, this is the best match in the entire show. Not gonna lie to you, this is the best match in the entire show. And let me say this. Bayley has been killing it since she won the Raw Women's title and then she turned heel. She's been killing it. Sasha, también. The same thing with Sasha. Sasha has been killing it since she's been back last year after SummerSlam. She's been killing it. She's been absolutely killing it. Let me tell you, Bayley and Sasha have been carrying this show and this company. And no one's going to disagree with me on that standpoint. No one is going to disagree with me there. Sasha and Bayley not only has been carrying Raw, they've been the third best thing on Raw. They're the second and third best thing in the entire company. Next to Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. I'm surprised here about the outcome here. But then again, I'm not really surprised here. Because I found out that this could be Kairi Sane's last match. There have been reports going around that Kairi Sane wants to go back to Japan. She wants to spend time with her husband, with her family, and everything else, and then, wrestle in Japan. So if this is Kairi's best match, her last match, then so be it. The match was good. The match was really, really good. Really good. Now, usually I am not against champions losing on live television, but in this case here, I can just accept it. In this case here, I can literally just accept it. I literally can because I don't really mind. In this situation, I don't mind. But in any other situation, champions shouldn't lose on live television. They really shouldn't. Low key, they really shouldn't. Kairi Sane picks up the victory over Bayley. If this is Kairi Sane's last match on the main roster, fine, so be it. She went out on top. That's fine. Sane goes up top and leaps for the insane elbow and she hits it, but her right arm prevents her from making a quick pin and Bayley gets a foot on the rope. Bayley whips Sane to the ropes and hits a big knee to counter a spear. Then hits a belly back suplex. Bayley goes up top and hits a macho elbow for a near fall. Bayley attempts a belly suplex as a finishing move, but Sane counters with a great roll up and picks up the 1-2-3 victory over Bayley, the SmackDown Women's Champion. And like I said, I don't mind the fact that the champion lost because this could be Kairi Sane's last match. So at this case, I don't mind it. I don't really mind it because it's not like Kairi Sane is gonna face Bayley at SummerSlam. Who knows? But at this case, if this was Kairi Sane's last match, so be it. At this point, I don't really mind. So Kairi Sane picks up a surprising victory over the SmackDown Women's Champion. The matchup was good. This is the best match in the entire show. I'm not gonna lie to you. And we get to look forward to Asuka and Sasha 2 next week, where we get the rightful winner and the real Raw Women's Champion. So next week, Asuka and Sasha should be good. Now, I said that Asuka and Sasha should be at the show, but after what we also got later on the show, Sasha and Asuka should go on the 9 o'clock hour. They should go on the 9 o'clock hour. Drew McIntyre stopped backstage and asked what kind of shape he's in. Drew says he'd be a liar if he said he felt good, but he's still WWE Champion, and he's heading to the ring right now to discuss his future. So Drew McIntyre heads to the ring after they come up for commercial break, and we see highlights of this match with Dolph Ziggler last night at the Horror Show Extreme Rules. McIntyre says he has to handle to Dolph. The stipulation last night was brilliant, and he maximized his chances. He still hit him with chairs, steel steps, put him through a table, and honestly, he almost had him. But almost doing things is the story of Dolph's entire career. It's facts. Speaking the truth. Sure. As of him, it's on towards and upwards. The next show for them is SummerSlam, and he wants a worthy opponent. Oh, we know who that worthy opponent it is, all right. We all know for sure. Dolph Ziggler comes out and says he saw fear in Drew's eyes last night. Drew says he's sick of seeing him. He beat him last night, so why is he here? Dolph says the whole world saw them beat each other stupid for that title. And yes, the odds were in his favor, but he saw the fear in his eyes. Drew knew he had what it takes, and he came very close. McIntyre says Dolph is becoming an embarrassment. It's true. And he's also going to leave. Dolph grabs Drew, but the Scotsman turns around and headbutts him. Drew starts to leave, but Ziggler tells him to stop. He deserved that match last night, and he could feel the title slipping away from Drew. He tells him to name the time, the place, and the stipulation because he doesn't care. He deserves it. Drew says Dolph has changed his mind. He accepts. Dolph asks what the stipulation is, and McIntyre says he doesn't know yet because it's only been 10 seconds, and it's going to make him wait until the bell rings. You know, the old adage at stakes, folks, karma is a bitch. What goes around comes around. That's what Drew McIntyre is basically saying to Dolph Ziggler. What goes around comes around. Karma is a bitch. You did it to me, now I'm going to do it to you. Now, I was here thinking and hoping and praying that this was not going to happen at SummerSlam. I was here hoping like, oh my God, if this happens at SummerSlam, I am going to go absolutely nut crazy. As we found out, during the non-sanctioned match between Orton and Big Show, we found out that the Drew McIntyre Dolph Ziggler match will happen next week. And I'm like, good. Absolutely good. Now, what could be the stipulation for McIntyre and Dolph next week? We don't know. Like Drew McIntyre says, we are going to wait until the bell rings. We'll find out next week. So now, I did say earlier, that, and I said this also on Twitter, that Asuka and Sasha should main event the show. If we wasn't getting Drew and Dolph again, Asuka and Sasha should main event Monday Night Raw. But, now that we're getting Drew and Dolph 2 next week, actually 3, because they fought before. They fought back in, I believe, the end of 2018 in that steel cage match. No, at the end of, I think, towards 2019, they fought. I think they fought towards the end of 2019 in that cage match. Now that we're getting Drew and Dolph 3 next week, that match is going to main event the show. Drew and Dolph are going to main event Raw again next week. So if I'm Vince and I'm booking Raw next week, I would have put Asuka and Sasha at the 9 o'clock hour, and then Drew and Dolph to main event the show next week. So finally, we get to the main event of the show here. We got the non-sanctioned match here. Big Show is backstage, and he says in a few minutes he's going to be standing across the ring from Randy Orton, the most dangerous man in WWE. He's had an incredible year, tore Edge's tricep off the bone, and turned Christian's dream of a final match into a nightmare. Orton has some systematic, and proving he is more than a last name. He's sadistically taking people out, and he knows he's next. He knows that his career is in jeopardy. He hoped and prayed the psychotic legend killer would never return, but the voices are back and screaming at Randy again. He says he's reminded of when he and Randy used to travel together and team together. They referred to each other as the hammer and the chisel, and they bonded. They talked about being like tigers and trying to change their stripes, and they knew each other's internal struggles. But it's all changed now. Randy has brought back the legend killer and has a boot with his name on it. He's asked himself if this is the end of the line for the Big Show. It might be. But just like a tiger, he will do everything and anything to survive. He knows it might be the end, but he'll do everything he can to make sure Randy doesn't write the end of his story. So from there, we go to commercial. Coming out of commercial, we got the non-sanctioned match between Orton and the Big Show. I don't know how I felt about this match. This match was 75% Randy Orton. Big Show had the other 25% of the match. Big Show only had one job to do during this match, and that was to make Orton look as strong, and Big Show really made Orton look like he was unstoppable. He really did. Now, one thing about the Big Show that I love, he's willing to sell out for you. One thing I love about the Big Show is that if he sees potential in you, he's going to sell for you. Same thing as Brock Lesnar. If Brock sees potential in you, if Brock feels like he can work with you, he's going to sell his ass off for you. And the Big Show did the exact same thing for Randy Orton. Big Show had one job to do. Big Show only had one job to do during this match, and that was to make Orton look as strong as possible going into SummerSlam. Big Show had one job, and that was to make Randy Orton look like a fucking unstoppable fucking force on Monday Night Raw. That's exactly what he did tonight on the show. Orton, now like I said, Orton had 75% offense in this match. 75% of the match was all Randy Orton. It was all Orton. The Big Show looks for the WMD, the weapons of mass destruction, but Orton rolls out of the ring. Big Show sets up for the table in the ring, then grabs Orton, throws him into the ring like a child. Show puts Orton on the table and then climbs to the middle rope. Show jumps for the Vader bomb, but Orton rolls out of the way and Show crashes through the table. Orton laughs and crawls towards Big Show, who slowly climbs to his feet. Orton picks his moment and hits an RKO, but Show kicks out. I had a problem with this. Why is Big Show kicking out of the RKO? The RKO should be a kickoff move. Once the move is made, it's done. Nobody kicks out the RKO, especially how the way Orton has been booked. So that I had a problem with. Orton leaves the ring, goes under the ring for a chair. He comes back inside his Big Show in the gut, then crosses the back. Orton talks trash, then hits Big Show again. Show rolls to the apron where Orton hits him with a chair again, then pulls him over the top rope for a draping DDT off the top rope, with Big Show hanging and draping up the top rope. Orton drops to his knees, punches the ground, his voice is in his head, hits the second RKO, and scores the pinfall. Now I know if Orton and McIntyre are fighting at SummerSlam and Orton hits an RKO on McIntyre, McIntyre's going to kick out. It's going to take more than one RKO to beat Drew McIntyre. At least. Now that we know. It's going to take at least more than one RKO to beat Drew McIntyre. It might take two. It might take three. It might take three to beat Drew McIntyre. Orton wins the match. After the match, Orton poses with the ref, then watches as Show tries to get to his feet. Orton walks back to the corner, then hits the punt. Orton gets in Show's ear and tells him, he told them. Basically said, I told you. Just like all the others, one more legend down. Referee to 10 Big Show. Orton goes to the corner, poses. That's a Show. Goes off the air. Let me say this now about Randy Orton. Since January, since the Royal Rumble, since the Royal Rumble, they have been booking Randy Orton completely perfectly. 110%. Perfectly. They made Orton into one of the most vicious heels on Monday Night Raw. And I am not lying to you. I have never seen Orton look this good, this dominant, since 2009. Go back to the Raw before the Royal Rumble in 2009 when Randy Orton punt kicked Vince McMahon's head off in Chicago. Watch that Raw. It was the ending of the Raw. It was the ending of that episode of Raw. It was the last segment of the show. I remember when Randy Orton punt kicked Vince, and from there, Orton looked fucking dominant ever since. Ever since. There is no way, no question in my mind. Drew McIntyre says he needs a worthy opponent for SummerSlam. That worthy opponent has to be Randy Orton. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to book Orton and McIntyre for SummerSlam for the second biggest show of the year for the WWE Championship. That's exactly what you have to do. Now, here's my prediction for Raw next week. McIntyre and Ziggler are going to go at it again for the title. McIntyre is going to name the stipulation. McIntyre will win that match. Nobody cares about another McIntyre-Ziggler match because we know McIntyre is going to go into SummerSlam as WWE Champion. So why book the match? Why book McIntyre and Ziggler where you can keep McIntyre off until the build towards SummerSlam? Why are you giving me another WWE Championship before SummerSlam? We already got through Extreme Rules. We already got through Ziggler last night at Extreme Rules. What makes you think I want to see another McIntyre-Ziggler match when we know the outcome of it? Not only that we know the outcome of it, we already know that McIntyre is going into SummerSlam as champion. This company had one job and one job only after Extreme Rules. Keep McIntyre off of television until he gets an opponent for SummerSlam. Then from there, you build McIntyre to that point. You build McIntyre and whoever his opponent is. It's not necessary that we're getting another McIntyre-Ziggler match. Is it really that necessary? We all know McIntyre is going to retain the championship. Ziggler lost at Extreme Rules. What makes you think he's going to win the championship on Raw next week? It's predictable at that point. It's predictable. Now, we all know McIntyre is going to retain the championship next week because there's no fucking way McIntyre's dropping the championship to Ziggler with 4 to 5 weeks before SummerSlam. There's no way. No fucking way. McIntyre is going to retain the championship next week, and Orton is going to come in, deliver an RKO out of nowhere to Drew McIntyre. And that is your build towards SummerSlam. There you go. McIntyre retains next week. Orton comes out of nowhere, delivers an RKO when we least expect it. Boom. There's your match to SummerSlam. There you go. And then we're off to the races towards SummerSlam. And let me tell you right now, the build, the promos between Orton and McIntyre is going to be fantastic. It's going to be some good shit. And let me tell you, and I said this earlier, Randy Orton hasn't looked this good since 2009. Since 2009. Orton has not looked this good. Now, there's the one question. Do you give Orton the WWE Championship? I believe in hard work pays off. I really do. I believe in hard work pays off. Do you give Randy Orton the WWE Championship at SummerSlam? If I was booking this match, if I had the pen to this match, I would. Because Orton has been that dominant since January. The WrestleMania match with Edge, the Backlash match with Edge, the greatest wrestling match ever at Backlash. Orton has not looked this good in a long time. If it's up to Orton, I would have given the title. I would. And like I said on the preview and predictions video I did on Saturday, I booked this entire championship, WWE Championship picture between SummerSlam of this year to SummerSlam next year. And I gotta give JD some credit on here because I gotta agree with what he said of how he booked it. You put Orton and McIntyre SummerSlam, Orton wins the title. Orton can drop the championship to Edge at the Rumble pay-per-view next year in January. I'd have Orton drop the championship to Edge at the Rumble next year in 2021. Hopefully by then there's a crowd by then. Hopefully by then there is a crowd. Edge takes the championship to WrestleMania. I would have Adam Cole be a surprise entrant at the Rumble. I would have Adam Cole win the Rumble. I would have Adam Cole against Edge at WrestleMania for the title. Have Adam Cole beat Edge in Edge's token title reign. Adam Cole takes the championship to SummerSlam next year in 2021, where he defends the championship against Drew McIntyre. That's what I would do. And that is it, guys. That's the end of Raw review. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you guys did, leave a thumbs up. If you guys enjoyed the Raw review, hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment down below what you thought of the review and the show tonight. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to show your support. Hit that subscribe button down below and turn on both guys for notifications. Extreme Rules review is live on the channel right now. Link to that video will be down below in the description. Also, the Extreme Rules 2020 preview and predictions video will be down below also in the description. And as well as the It's the Real to Them DJ Storm's conversation reaction video will be down below as well in the description. All those 3 videos will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper right corner of the screen. I will see you guys tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. Wednesday. I'm probably going to review Dynamite. And then Thursday, I'll give you guys NXT. Actually, matter of fact, Wednesday, I'm going to give you guys NXT. Thursday, I'm going to give you guys Dynamite. Friday, I'm going to give you guys SmackDown on Friday. Saturday, I will give you guys a podcast on Saturday. I'm going to give you guys the podcast on Saturday, episode 69 of the podcast on Saturday. There will be no upload Sunday because Sunday has Softball Sunday. Sunday I have softball, so there'll be no review. There'll be no upload on Sunday because I have softball Sunday. I have my softball league on Sunday, so I have that game on Sunday. And then Monday, I will give you guys Raw review right back next week on Monday. So that is it, guys. If you guys also want to follow me on social media, you guys can follow me on social media. Instagram at your boy Chris25_, and Twitter at Chris Most Hated. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you guys on Wednesday for NXT. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, share the video. All over social media. I'll see you guys on Wednesday for NXT review. What we got? What do we have on Wednesday? Oh, we have Dominik Dijakovic going up against Karrion Kross. That should be a barn burner of a match on Wednesday on NXT. Till then, guys, I'm Chris. Stay safe. Wash your hands, folks. If you guys are going outside, wear a mask. Stay hydrated, folks. Stay hydrated. And I will see you guys on Wednesday for NXT review. Till then, guys, I am Chris. Thank you guys so much. See you guys later.